Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Recrutes HabsCast. My name is Rick Springhetti, and I am joined by our man, Mr. Grant McCagg. Grant, tell me, do you have any thoughts today?
Well, my first thought, Rick, believe it or not, is that it's a great day to talk hockey.
Indeed, it is. I love when you say that. It's always a good reminder for all of us. And Grant, let me ask you, what have you been up to this week? Busy, a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, well, as you know, getting things prepped for the big launch there of HabsCast, going to be maybe official after Labor Day. So our next
Mhm.
episode, stay tuned. I think I'll be going into detail about what the plan is for this fall and beyond. So, been very busy with that, but of course, silly me, we gotta we need to resod the backyard.
Mhm.
Um, built a fence last year, and the grass kind of got ruined in the process, just with a lot of
Okay.
had to redo the holes, and there was mud everywhere, clay everywhere, mud. Anyways, we have to resod the uh, the backyard, and got some landscaping quotes. Thought they were a little complicated and not really any of them really cooperating with us and what we wanted to be done, and the price was pretty high. And stupid me, I said, "Well, I'll do it. You know, I'll do the." So I started. I started on one side. It's all she's been picking out crabgrass and everything, all the weeds on the one side. She picked out all the grass, so there's no grass, so you can't use a sod stripper.
Mhm.
And I'm having to do it with a
Mm.
shovel. So I'm going down 2-3 inches
Oh,
of dirt, and then have to wheel it, take it to the dump, 2 or 3 inches of
oh my.
dirt. But uh, you,
Oh.
you don't realize how heavy dirt is till you till you start. I'm
Oh,
putting it into like recycling bins,
oh,
but you can only put about half
yeah,
full.
yeah.
If you fill that all up and try to lift that into a wheelbarrow,
No way.
I mean, the odd man could do it, but I'm not 30 years old anymore, and it anyway, I I wanted to I want to lose a few pounds, and this is
Oh,
yesterday I probably lost 4 pounds in water anyways. I
oh,
don't know if that lots of sweating
incredible.
going on. So anyways, that's what I've been up to. Uh Between that and getting the Habs cast going, I barely have time to breathe. So but that's good. Keeps me out of trouble and getting in a little better shape, I guess. You got to look at the positives.
Oh, a lot of respect for people who do things on their own. I literally need a guide to use a hammer. Like I don't even, I gotta, I have no idea about any of this stuff. So good for you. I think it's great, but I think there might be a little bit of regret in your voice thinking, oh yeah, yeah, what was I thinking? But
My
you
back's
live, you
not
learn, right?
my back's not happy with me today.
No, no, I could have just imagined. Grant, let's start talking hockey because, as you said, it's a great day to talk hockey today.
Yeah, different landscape.
We're, as you said, season is coming up really quickly. Not much time left. Camp is about to start. And looking at the roster at this point of the year, you got to think that this is going to pretty much be it, unless there's a surprise move that could happen. But odds are this will be the roster that the Habs will have for their first game in against Toronto on October 8th. On that day, Grant, I was wondering, what do you think is going to be the Habs starting lineup that game?
Okay. Well, geez, Rick, I just happen to have a lineup here.
No way.
Yeah, and that geez, eh? So
Wow.
let's have a look here. There we go. Uh Here is what I think is the projected lineup to start the season
Right.
with I'm presuming that Doc isn't going to start the year.
Looks like it.
It's looking that way, right? So,
Yeah.
this is what I think might be the opening night lineup.
Okay.
Now, pretty shocking that first line, right? Are you?
I'm just flabbergasted, my friend, flabbergasted.
I don't know. I put us back up on screen, but I don't want to. I'm not sure what happened there, but anyway, we'll just you know, people can presume what our expressions are here. Uh, so that's obviously the first line's the easy part, right?
Right.
Uh, Line A, Kapanen, and Demidov. Well, that's the tough one. How do you, you know, uh, like, what do you think of Kapanen, Line A, Demidov? Do you think that there's any chance that Kapanen starts the year on the second line?
I think it's unlikely,
What?
just because of experience sake, right? Not because I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea, but I think it's unlikely due to his lack of experience. But in terms of what he brings to the game, there's a logic that you've explained many times on this show of why that would work, and I
Right.
get it. I think there's a very good logic behind it. I totally understand where you're coming from.
Okay, good. Well, it's I mean that's the tough one
Right.
to judge at this point, right? I think
Yeah.
I mean Beck's a possibility, although I think that's an outside. If he makes a
Yeah.
team, it'll likely be reserve role like fourth line or whatever
Hmm.
to start. Newhook's a possibility. Um uh Veleno's a possibility. And this is all on the presumption that Doc, because I think it's
Hmm.
looking that way that he probably will need a little more time at the start of the year.
Right.
Uh, so I think, well, we'll go back to the list here.
Yeah.
Just, I like the look of Bolduc, Veleno, and Newhook
Right.
as a trio.
Yeah.
Now, I got thinking about this more after I put this up. Um, it could well be Newhook in the center on that line and
Hmm.
Veleno on the way, just because Newhook's speed, and I think he's improved his. I think he's improved his offense, or sorry, his
Hmm.
defense enough that he may be comfortable enough as a center on the third line, and they can go back and forth on draws.
That makes
Veleno
sense.
can take draws where it's his strong side, and vice versa. Like whoever they go. That's how they do it, right? They go by the stats. Okay, this guy's 52% in that face-off dot, so he'll take the draws here. You know, New Hook's 50. We even saw last year New Hook in the offensive zone on one side. He even took draws over Suzuki on the power play and stuff because that was his strongest spot, right?
Makes
Out of
sense.
the four dots. So the other interesting thing is Bolduc. How much has he been working on a face-offs, and will he? He could be taking some draws as well. Now, the other thing is that because of that, perhaps those three aren't together, and and you know he goes up to the second line as another face-off option. But I don't see. I really think in the preseason here, a lot of the practices and stuff, Line A and Demidov have been practicing together. You notice it, like you see these, and
The clips.
I really think that that the plan is to go into the season with Line A and Demidov on the second line, and then whoever in the center, right? But
Hmm.
it wouldn't shock me if it was New Hook. I mean, he played out of all the guys, the possibilities that are there, if you don't include Doc, he's the guy that played it the most, and they did make the playoffs last year. So, and that was without Demidov and Line as line mates. So, if Newhook keeps improving his defense, uh, keeps improving his face-offs, I'm not discounting the possibility that he's in that spot too. But for me, we'll just click this back on again. For me, that's this is a possibility. I like the balance there,
Right.
because that third line could be damn good. You know, there's a lot of potential there for that being an effective third line. Some
I
good
do. I
speed,
agree.
some offense, some defense. Not a bad trio. Um, and also, Anderson, Evans, Gallagher as your fourth line. I mean, that's not really fourth line, right?
No. Right.
They would most nights be getting more ice time than maybe the second or the third line, or at least equal. I think there's a real balance there where after the top line, uh, depending on the night, right? If we look at that, if we look at this, any of those bottom three lines could have the most ice time, 5-on-5. Scotty Bowman was probably a great example, and I often come back to it because I think he's the template. He's the guy that
Hmm.
you what Scotty did, modern day coaches should do, because
Yeah.
Scotty's the best of all time, right?
Of course. Absolutely.
But what Scotty would do a lot of nights, like the Anderson, Gallagher, Evans line would be the checking line, because they're just all so good. They're going to be out again matchups against other teams' top lines.
Hmm.
So that just naturally will give them more ice time than those other two lines, even though they're you know considered the second and third lines because of a little more offense capability.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of nights, and depending on the team they were playing against, like for instance the Islanders with
Hmm.
Gillies, Trache, and Bossy, and Nystrom on the second line. They had their top six was fantastic. Nights like that, Gainey, Jarvis, and Chartrand or Roberts would play more than the second line with Mondu, Cornway,
Hmm.
you know, because you had to shut them down. And
Absolutely.
so it'll depend on matchups. And I think all three of those lines, if the season started with this, with this 12, all three of those lines would get pretty much an equal amount of ice time. So I like the balance of that group. Blay would be the extra guy, right? He'd be the Michael Pezzetta, I think, is what the plan is for this year, right? You don't
Absolutely.
you don't have a young kid like a Beck or whatever as a 13th forward, because you want him to keep developing. You
Yep.
don't want him sitting in the stands. So it'll be a Sammy Blaze, the perfect guy. Uh, you're not that worried about his development, um, because he's not the future. Guys like Beck are. So you have a Sammy Blay. When there's injuries, he can come in. He won't hurt you. When you're playing a tough team, especially on the road, and you think, okay, we could use a little sandpaper in there. Blay will get in a few games here and there where
Mhm.
you want the guy that can fight, and that can bring some energy and protect other guys in the lineup. So I like I think that's a decent 13 to start. Obviously, the question mark would be second line center, and you can argue it
Yep.
any way you want, but people, we welcome people in the comments after to give us your lineup. Tell us who you think the top 12 would be, and at forward, and we'll weigh and tell you you're crazy, and it's all good. But
Copy
what
paste everyone. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
yeah. No, I can type. I know how to spell crazy. I've typed it before. Yeah. Uh, what for you? If you what would be your changes to that 12 you know if you were Marty St.
Yeah,
Louis, and at this point, I mean, things are going to change.
right.
It'll depend on injuries. It'll depend on
Yeah,
Doc. It'll depend on who stands out in exhibition season, because I think Marty's a coach that he rewards players that are
yeah.
playing well. It's not you know, Claude Julien had a lot of good qualities about him as a coach, but one of the things that frustrated me was that he had his lineup set before training camp ever started, and it didn't change. And
Oh
Marty's
yeah.
not like that. He's not afraid to, hey, this guy's standing out and he's outplaying other guys. He'll get an opportunity.
I
So,
agree.
um, what to you? I'll put this back up, and you tell me what would be
So,
your
man,
changes to that.
your lineup has me questioning mine a little bit. I gotta say, you brought in some great arguments. Um, I decided for now, because if Doc does need a bit more time, I don't think it's going to be very long. So my solution is more short term. And I had Evans on that second line with Liney and Demidov. And the reason being that I think there's so much offensive talent with Liney and Demidov that you could put Evans in there who will win faceoffs, and he will just take care of things on his own end a bit on the defensive part of the game. And I think it'll
Yeah,
free up Liney and Demidov a little bit more. And I'm also thinking that Liney and Demidov have so much offensive talent that you might have some of the better opponents playing against them for that reason. And I like the idea of putting Evans against them due to his experience a little bit, again, as a short term solution. And I got Kapanen on the third line, or line number three, whichever you want to call it, centering Bolduc and Newark.
yeah,
And I just like the chemistry of that line in a sense, the way I foresee it being, where Newark creates a lot of space with his speed. He forces the opponent a little bit to back off a little bit or give him a bit more space. Kapanen has some really nice puck moving ability and passing game, and Balduc has that great shot. So I'm looking at them as being a nice line, and it's a little bit the same thing you were saying, Grant, before with the faceoffs. You got Kapanen who could take some faceoffs, and you got Newark that could take some faceoffs because one's a lefty, one's a righty. And on the third line, Anderson, Valeno, and Gallagher. The idea being again that I think Valeno is at a turning point of his career where he was a higher pick. And I think sometimes when you're picked higher, you're thinking offense and being, top two lines. And I think at this point, he's got to realize that he's more of a fourth line player now. And playing that sort of straightforward, up and down the ice, banging style, if you will, between Anderson and Gallagher will work for him. I think it'll help him kind of find his new game, a bit like Marty St. Louis did with Anderson, where he had to kind of adjust his role that suited him better. I think putting him on this line would give Valeno a chance to adjust his role that would be better. So
yeah,
those are my lines for now that I would like to see the Habs consider. And but again, I know, as you said, there's so many possibilities, and I think it's going to change every few games. I think almost this year as Marty St. Louis tries to find the solution to the second line enigma that is the Montreal Canadiens this year. And again, if Doc comes back and he's really healthy and feeling good about himself, well, this all becomes a little bit of a moot point. Then Doc takes over that second line role, I think.
yeah. I almost think it's not a bad thing that Doc may not be ready at the start of the year, because you'll get it'll give these other guys an opportunity to show whether they can center the second line with those two guys. And for me, Evans just doesn't have enough offense. Like, I think that they want the second line to produce, and center is a pretty key part of generating offense, even no matter how skilled the wingers are.
Yeah.
You need the guy that can possess the puck, distribute the puck, um, and I think Kapanen's got more capability of doing that than Evans. And I believe he's obviously not as good as Evans is defensively yet, but going to be every bit as good away from the puck as Evans, while having more size and maybe capability of shutting down top two centers at even strength. But I mean, Evans is a fantastic penalty killer. Don't get me wrong, and that although 5-on-5, I don't know that he's as effective defensively as he
Oh,
is penalty killing.
okay.
But he is a solid defensive center, and yeah, I could see that. The Claude Julien. That's what Claude would do. He would put Evans at the second line center because it'd be the conservative approach, and it sounds like you would be a conservative coach if it was up to you. And I say, bah humbug. Let's go for it. Give the give the kid the hand the ball to the kid and let him. And I mean, it's going to change around it.
Yeah.
If Kapanen can't do it, you don't say, oh well, no, this is going to work, and you give it 20 games. If it's not working, you switch it up, right? This isn't etched in stone. The lineup can be changed after one game. So
No, for sure.
that's why I would try Kapanen with those two in preseason, and you'll get an idea, right? Like I wouldn't start the preseason with Evans as okay, we're going to try Evans with these two
Okay.
guys. I would that would be a secondary. I would try one of the kids with more upside. If it doesn't work, okay, Evans is our fallback. Uh, but yeah, I don't disagree that Evans would, because I have made the argument that I think you need a good defensive center between those two guys. Uh, Demidov's a rookie, basically. Line A, his defense can be come and go. So it makes sense to have a good defensive center between the two.
Yeah.
Personally, I think Kapanen's a very good defensive center, so that's why I I prefer him, because I think he can generate more offense
Yeah.
than a Evans.
And I completely agree with you. I would not use Evans in the middle of that line during the preseason games. I would give every opportunity to Kapanen. Like, put him in a position where he could prove me wrong. I'm 100% on board with that idea. No problem at all.
Good stuff.
And what about the rest
Right.
of the lineup at D? What do you see, Grant?
Yeah. Well, geez, I got to figure it out. I'm getting pretty good at production here, right?
It's preseason for us too, my friend.
Yeah, that's
We're
right.
getting ready.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of my graphic there too? Getting fancier,
It
right?
looks wonderful. It's
Yeah.
great.
Thank you, Canva. We threw a couple of, you recognize the guy on the left and the right there?
I can't see very well. I got half screen, and so I couldn't really tell. I'll have to look at it
Oh,
more
okay. So people,
more
in
clearly.
case they're on their phones watching this or whatever, that's Captain Nick on the left and Cole Caulfield on the right. So
I like it.
maybe next time I'll make them a little bigger. But yeah. So this again is also interesting. It's there's going to be a lot of debates about this
Yeah.
throughout preseason. I'm sure we'll be discussing the possible lineup probably all freaking preseason. Goalie Dobson and Hudson Reinbacher. I don't know if they'll start the season with that
Mhm.
foursome, but down the road, if it's not to start the year, I think that those are the pairings that they envision as the
Yeah.
top four.
Yeah.
Goalie, the big, um, physical, good defenseman with Dobson, who doesn't mind joining the rush, and Goalie can be you know, the Sarah Savard, Larry Robinson
Hmm.
uh, type thing where the Goalie lays back, Dobson goes for his rush, just like Larry Big Bird used to do, and Savard would sit back,
Yeah.
right? So you have that. I think that they make a good pairing, and I feel the same way about Hudson Reinbacher. I think
Yep.
when they drafted Reinbacher, it was in mind playing him with Hudson, and we saw it at the very first development camp. Who did they pair them together? Right off the bat, it was Hudson and
Yep.
Reinbacher.
Yep.
Um, Reinbacher being the big all around sound defensive, and very much like I was saying with Robinson and Savard, same deal with Hudson Reinbacher, where
Yep.
you've got the you've got the guy that thinks offense, that can rush the puck, that can do all sorts of things with the puck. Although Reinbacher can too, but
Yep.
uh, and then you have Reinbacher who can be uh, the defensive conscience at times, right? On the in the pairing, but he's big, rangy. I just I like those two as a duo, and I really think that they would complement each other very well. And I feel the same way about the quote unquote third pairing, um, Matheson and Carrier. I think that there's a good complement there as well, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Carrier being just so solid defensively, Matheson having a bit of, well, he's such a great skater, and he can move up into the play and create some stuff. Uh, Once in a while, there's a hiccup there, and Carrier's around to back him up, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and again, you look at these, and it's so hard to say, well, like, what's the top pairing, right? Out of those three,
Oh,
they
you're gonna roll three pairings that could handle themselves no matter what. Really.
oh, the defense is going to be so strong this year.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I hate seeing Jack and Struble not in the lineup. Like,
Yeah.
wow, if that's your seventh and eighth defenseman, I don't like, and this is like I was saying with Sammy Blaze, the perfect guy to have as your extra forward. Jack and Struble are not your perfect guys to have as your extra defenseman, because I think both should be playing. They're still developing. They're still very young
Hmm.
as young NHL defensemen, and that's the one part of this whole equation that why there might be something happen during camp. It's going to be, I think, dependent on, does someone come up and grab the bull by the horns as second line center? And I'm hoping that that's Kapanen, but we'll see. If none of them do they want to start the season with two young defensemen that need to be playing and developing sitting in the stands? It kind of goes against the philosophy that this group has had, the management group and coaching, where you don't, maybe one, you can get away with one of them and work them into the lineup here and there, but two, uh, under 25 defensemen who are still developing, under 24 even, Struble's what, 22, 23? He's still like only
He's,
22, I think, going into the
I,
year.
he's really hasn't. He really does. He's a really young defenseman. Considering that defenseman, the development curve is longer than a forward. He's a very inexperienced defenseman who's shown a lot of good things already.
Oh, I have a hard time having both of those guys, either of those guys, out of the lineup. But it that's if Reinbacher's ready, right? Now, because of that, because you don't want two young developing defensemen sitting in the stands, at most one. That's why, unless Reinbacher lights it up, and you have no choice. You gotta friggin' because how many top 5 picks who he'll be 21 at the start of the season. How many 21-year-old top 5 picks aren't playing in the NHL, right?
Oh,
They're as a rule by 21.
yeah,
Many at 18 are playing, 19,
yeah,
20. Like the projection when they drafted him, I'm sure was okay. Third year, he'll be in the lineup, right?
yeah,
That's why you had to pick top 5 guys, top 5. But
yeah.
he missed half of last season. You don't want 2 good young defensemen sitting in the stands. It's that's one of the big question marks of training camp. But if none of the part of it will be contingent on if somebody grabs the bull by the horns at second line center. If they don't, and it's an obvious need, there's a team out there that needs has a couple injuries on defense. You offer them Struble or Jack-Eye, get back that second line center, plug that
Oh yeah,
hole. That's
yeah,
that's a possibility to happen between
for
now
sure.
and October 4th as well, I think.
I think also the Madison situation too kind of plays into it. What is he looking
Yeah.
for as a next contract, right? If
Yeah,
he's looking for $7 million a year for 7 or 8 years, you kind of maybe have to question if they could do that. And it's not a knock against Madison. Far from it. It's a compliment. Like he deserves to be a well-paid defenseman because he's a good defenseman. So you have to
Math
look at that too. I think that's going to play a part of it too.
Matheson, yes, he uh Billy Madison's still not on the team. I know we've had this discussion before. Uh no, yeah, I mean it's hard to justify, especially if he's kind of the third pairing on the third pairing.
Yeah,
Do as much as I'm a proponent of having 2 vets at least on defense and needing that leadership and how much Matheson is revered in that dressing room. Um, it's hard to pay a guy that down the road could be on your third pairing,
yeah,
7 million plus, uh, unless the Canadians are in a good situation where they have a lot of good young forward talent that will be on ELCs over the next few years,
right.
where you can help balance and you can kind of overspend at one position a little bit. And I think that will be on defense for a while. But yeah, that's the other possibility that perhaps Matheson gets dealt. But uh, Kent Hughes picked him up, loves him.
Yeah,
The organization loves him. All I hear is just how good he is for the young players, and it's difficult to envision them trading him at this point,
hmm,
uh, because I think he can help them c- compete this year.
yeah.
So
No, I get it.
you know, I
It's not easy being an NHL GM. Let me tell you.
well down the road, you know, like if they do deal Jackeye or Struble, they can still deal Matheson at the
Yeah,
trade deadline, and if Reinbacher's in there, you're still, you're
yeah,
still fine on defense, right? You got to not
right.
so you got 6, and then you call up Engstrom or whatever, and you got 7, or Trudeau to be sitting or whoever, right?
Yeah,
They signed Del Gaizo, and he's played in the NHL too. He could get
yeah,
called up at the trade deadline and be the 7th guy
I agree.
if
I agree.
if Struble and Matheson are gone by the
Yeah,
trade deadline. So there's all sorts of options there.
absolutely.
Um, and we can go back to this. Yeah, it's again, Montembeault and Kakkonen, they flip a coin. I think
Yeah,
it'll, as far as Dobish or Kakkonen, I think what it may start the year like this, so Dobish can go back. He's still developing, like we saw last year, right?
yeah,
There's
I agree.
and I can see him starting the year in Laval, Kakkonen being the backup. Monty's probably going to play 60 plus games. He's the starter. He's the guy they're competing. They want to. So you know, the fact that they signed Kakkonen to a one-way contract uh, tells me that they're going to seriously consider starting the year with him as the backup. Because again, just like with Struble, just like with Beck, just like with Jacky, you don't want young developing players sitting the whole time. You want them playing, you want them developing to some degree. And is Dobish playing 15 to 20 games the uh, best for his development this year? He's still eligible to go down with having to go through waivers. So uh, it wouldn't shock me if Kokkonen started the year as the backup. But again, it'll depend on who looks better in training camp, I think.
Yeah, and as we always say, one step back for now could mean two steps forward in the future, and you got to look long term at these things, and it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to play a few games in Laval for Dobish.
Well, as you know, with young goalies, the the development takes longer, and I think maybe out of necessity, Dobish was kind of rushed a bit because Primo wasn't doing the job.
Right.
So I think they would probably like to have Dovish go back for one more year and keep developing at the HL level. But we'll see. I mean, he if he has a really strong training camp, then it'll be Kakkonen that gets sent down.
Well, I mean, I totally also agree with that, and I don't think it's the end of the world if Dobish goes down to Laval for a few games. So it won't ruin his confidence. It won't ruin his career. Let's not get too worried about that. So, we've discussed so many things that happened this summer. The depth of the team has never been better, or hasn't been better in many, many years. With the arrival of a lot of good new talent in the roster. Is there areas of concern you have, Grant, for this year coming up, that things that worry you about this organization, or things that we should keep an eye on?
Well, second line center. I mean, you know, uh, goaltending is still a little bit of a concern, but second line center is where there has to be uh, uh, it has to be answered at some point. I uh, I think up front on defense is strong. On the wing, very strong. Um, there are some good center pieces, but second line center is the big question mark. And will it be answered in training camp? We'll see. I hope that's why I hope a kid like Kapanen gets full opportunity in training camp. And if he, like we saw that, what was it, against Philadelphia last year in training camp, they gave him like a second line center role. He was maybe the best player on the ice
Yeah,
that
yeah,
game. And
yeah.
then he starts the year on the fourth line, playing 8 minutes on the wing. It's hard to, you know, hard to adjust to that. Uh,
Mhm.
I think he went to the SHL, was one of the three top most prolific point getters per game in the SHL at that age. So he showed the offense that he needed to show and demonstrated that, yeah, there is offensive upside there, that that can be tapped at the NHL level just have to keep adjusting to the speed of the NHL and the lack of space. And he comes back, plays anything like he did in that Philadelphia game, playing with, I want to see him with Demidov and Line because I personally think that just, there are a lot of reasons why I think that trio would work. And I'm really hoping that they give it a shot in training camp because I think he's the best. Out of all the guys, if everything works out well for him, I think he's the best match at this point, outside of Doc being ready and playing. We saw flashes of Doc being a really good second line center.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
In the past, and ideally, what a three top 5 picks playing together, right? Doc,
Yeah.
Line and Demidov. The last time Montreal had, I was trying to look back at, I think it was Muller, Bellows, and not Damfus, Ryan Walter. You had to go back to Muller, Bellows, and I can't
Wow.
think of the third guy. I think it might have been Ryan Walter, where the Habs had a trio at some point that were all top 5 picks playing on the same line together. So
Just
certainly from a
crazy.
pedigree standpoint, 2 top 3 picks and a top 5 pick playing together, all under the age of 27, the potential to be a hell of a line if everything came together is so high with that trio.
And as much as we see it as a problem, Grant, let's face it, Habs are lucky that Suzuki's been such a workhorse. I don't want to jinx it, but God, if ever he gets injured for a few games, it'll be a really, really serious problems for Montreal, eh?
Shouldn't have said that.
Uh,
Yeah.
Grant, there's one aspect of your shows in the past that I always love is the Habs Prospect of the Week, and we're bringing it back, Grant. You said that it's time to bring it back, and Grant, I want to know, the listeners want to know, who is your Habs Prospect of the Week?
Well, this is gonna make me look smart, which isn't always the case. But when you asked me, flying under the radar prospect a couple of weeks ago, and I
Yeah,
said Philip Eriksson,
yeah,
prospect of the week, Philip Eriksson, my friends.
really, eh?
He let's get him in here. He played 2 exhibition games. He's number 25 here. Okay, in
Okay,
yellow. Last 2 exhibition games, he's transferred from Vaxio to Lilea,
yeah,
who are the friggin' defending champs.
right.
He's playing on the top line in
That's fantastic.
in exhibition season on the right side, and he goal and an assist in each of these 2 games, and a key component on the power play, as you'll see in these highlights. This is the power play here. Look at him ready for the one-timer, and boom.
Wow,
That was quite a shot, eh?
that really is.
That beats any goalie. So he's a trigger man on their power play, and this is the defending SHL champs. He is only 20 years old still. He doesn't turn 21 until November. So he had 2 goals in 56 games over the last 2 years with Vaxio. So
Yeah,
wasn't playing a huge role, right? Well, he has 2 goals in 2 exhibition games with the defending champs. So safe to say that they're going to give him a top 9 role, and the way he looked in these 2 games, he's going to stay on that first line. So, how encouraging is that for a? I mean, Kapanen last year even was 21 playing. So, I think that you're going to see an offensive breakthrough from him this year at the SHL level, because it looks like they're going to give him every opportunity. But here you go again. You notice that they're like they keep getting the puck to him
Yeah.
on the power play, and there
Well,
was an assist where he's kind of the almost quarterbacking things from the forward position. So, and here he is playing defensively. What I like most about his game is his IQ.
yeah.
He's a very, very smart player. Um, makes a lot of really nice plays defensively. He makes the right decisions with the puck. What I like is how he anticipates the play, and we'll see a little bit more of it in the. That was the game 1 goal and an assist. In this game that I'm going to show you here now, same deal, goal and an assist. So, how good is that? Let's have
Great.
a look here. I'll put it on full screen. But look at the forecheck in there. Took a big defenseman. He's also got some jam. He doesn't mind going to the front of the net. He's not the biggest guy, 5'11" or whatever, but there's no fear there. He's brave, not afraid. Excuse me.
Whoa,
To
look
go
at that.
to the hard areas, and you can see the competitiveness too. He's like a dog in the bone on the forecheck, so he liked that part of it. But what I like is just his IQ. You keep seeing smart plays from him. Goes to the right spots. I love his positioning, anticipation. Even right there, you just see, okay, as soon as the guy got the puck, I'll head to the net quickly. You'll see a couple. Here he is battling in the slot. So doesn't mind going to the dangerous. Look at this. Maybe I'll back that up a little bit. Um, right here. Okay, he battles in the slot and then goes away right here. Like he just knew to go to the right spot. As soon as the teammate got the puck, he broke to an area where, okay, get him the puck, right? It's such an important your thought process away from the puck is so important, and his I really like the way he thinks the game. There's another example. He got it right back to the defenseman right away. Back to the defenseman. You just see smart play after smart play from this kid,
Right.
and that's a 20 years of age playing in what might be the second best league on the planet. Certainly in the discussion, like with KHL, AHL, right there. Ends up getting assist on that play because he was making smart decisions, smart plays. Here he is on the power play again. They get him the puck to for scoring opportunities because obviously he's got a very good shot, and they took
And
advantage of that.
he's constantly a passing option. I find he adjusts
Yes,
and he's always a passing option to his teammate. That's such a great quality, one that I really value in a player, and that comes with his IQ, as you mentioned, his hockey IQ being really impressive.
yes, he goes to the open areas and becomes a good passing option, and that's you said it. I was trying to say it earlier, Rick, but you said it. You said what I was trying to say earlier perfectly. Yeah, exactly. He gets open, and it's a very. I mean, line mates love that, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to get checked. Here he is with the forecheck again. He's got some jam. He's not afraid to, you know, battle,
No.
take the hit to try to get the puck. Good. I wouldn't call him an elite skater, but his skating's more than fine.
Hmm.
Um, that was maybe the one thing that I noticed in his draft year, and again, the reason why he lasted till the 6th round was because he was injured just about his whole draft year.
Okay.
So kudos to the Canadian staff for identifying him when he only played like 11 games in his draft year and knowing that, hey, this kid, there's a lot more to come, right? But here he is again going to the net. So I don't mind that part of his game too, that he's not afraid to battle. But what do you see in oh, here he is on the power play again. Look at
Yeah,
that shot.
that shot is great.
You know, this is just showing it again. Top corner.
I love his
So
patience too. He waits for the defenseman to commit, uses him as a shield, and then he just lets it rip. He just
yeah,
has that intelligence, as you say.
yeah. So good shot, good battle, high IQ, decent skater. Um, I am reminded a little bit of a former Hab, if you wanted to, is Artie Lehkonen.
Oh wow, that's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a good call there.
I there are some, and here he is taking the draw on the power play. He plays like he's a natural center, so played the majority of the last 2 years at center. Like he centered a line last year with the two kids there on. He got loaned to the Allsvenskan and played Djurgården. He
Okay.
played with the two high picks there. Um,
Uh, Eklund and
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, the number 3 overall pick. Can you remember his
Yes.
name? That's bad, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, we got a lot of players we look at. I mean, I've already looked at over 150 players for the next draft, so we got a lot of players to look at for a long time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyways, he played with the kids and he looked really good. Um, so he can play center, he can play wing. He's he's a hell of a prospect, and I think the Habs got honestly, I think the Habs got a steal with um, picking him in the 6th round, and just like for Roar, kind of a bit under the radar because
Yeah.
you know because he's playing in Europe, because he wasn't a high pick. People, you know, people think, oh well, it's not that great. Anton Frondell.
That's it.
I'm thinking, okay, it starts with an F, and I'm thinking Frolov, and why could I not? You young folks out there, wait, just wait till you hit middle age.
Yeah, yeah,
You'll know what I'm talking about. But wow,
yeah. And
I couldn't
in
remember
your
Anton
defense,
Frondell.
you worked so hard yesterday, all day that you kind of are a little bit. I don't have any excuse. You do.
I was waiting for you to
Oh,
say
good.
it, and I go, oh God, he's not gonna think of it either. Okay, oh well. Tomorrow will be perfect, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grant, before we go, we do want to say that we will be hockey starts soon, and the Habs, the Montreal Canadiens Prospect Challenge is coming up. I believe September 13, 14, and there'll be just a lot of great hockey. And you and I will be there for this event. We're lucky to have been able to get some tickets from our good friend Paul Antoniadis, who we say hi to, and we thank profusely for his kindness and his support. Always a
Oh,
great guy to talk hockey with.
I'm glad you pronounced his last name and not me. Yeah, and shout out to him. I hope you got it right. I think you did. Yeah,
Yeah,
the big Greek. A
yeah.
couple of years ago, he invited me and Tony Marinero to a game, and we sat uh, right behind the net on the glass, and you could Jeff Molson. I was like 30 feet away from me, you know, which
Wow.
is which was kind of cool. And that was my introduction to Paul. And he, you know, I introduced Paul to you to Paul,
Yeah.
and you got to go with a game to him with him to a game last year.
Yeah, I
But
had a great time.
yeah, he was kind enough to offer us tickets. There's going to be about 6 of us, I guess, all in a row there, including Paul, you, and I, and
Yeah.
to the Winnipeg game on the 13th. So I'm coming down. Um, I mean, I could go up in the press box, but personally, press box so far from the friggin' ice that somebody offers me to, you want to come and sit in the stands? Yeah, I'll take that over being
Absolutely.
being up in the Goodyear blimp watching the game. So, but then the next night, I guess the plan probably is stay overnight and then go to the second game, and I'll be in the press box for game 2. But
That's great.
yeah, I'll be coming down for the event. I don't like to miss that, boy. That's great. So
No,
really looking forward to hooking up with you guys and watching the game, and we'll have a special podcast about that afterwards.
absolutely. So, folks, thank you very much for another great show. We'd love to hear your comments. Love to have your support. Subscribe. Be a part of our community that's growing. Grant has a lot of important announcement next week, and I can't wait to know what they are myself. I'm always caught off guard, and I like it that way. Lack of preparation is fun. We call it spontaneity. It's great. It's a lot of fun. So, folks, Grant, thank you very much for indulging me and for sharing your thoughts on the Montreal Canadiens. And folks, the Recrutes HabsCast. We got a lot of great things coming up soon. Have a good day, everyone.